Yo, what's good, Josh? Your boy J Swab. I am the host of J Swab TV. I just got done watching last night's episode of The Shy, and we got a lot in this one. So I ain't even gonna waste too much time. I'm just gonna go right into the episode. If y'all like anything I gotta say all in this recap, you already know what y'all gotta do. Like, comment, share, subscribe, do all those things. And let's start this recap of The Shy, season 7, episode 9. So boom, we pick up where we left off. Emmett is on the ground groveling after getting shot by this man Reg. Hannibal sees this and immediately thinks Reg is tripping, but Reg just tells Hannibal to get Emmett up out of here. So being this stand-up guy Hannibal is, he decides to take Emmett to the hospital. This is where we see all of Emmett's family pulling up to the hospital at one time. You got Darnell, you got Jada, you got Keisha, you got Tiff, you got Damien. This nigga got family for days. The people in the hospital hating, they not trying to let them go see Emmett, so they just sitting out in the lobby panicking, worried about what the fate of Emmett is gonna be, similarly to the fans. But obviously Emmett ended up surviving this ordeal. There's some of y'all who really thought this man Emmett was gonna die. Listen, I don't like the nigga like that. I hate how he was done, but there's no way they was gonna get rid of Emmett like that. At least not before he marries Keisha. Like, that's something that they've clearly been building up throughout this season, and we see at the end of this episode he even proposes to her. So yeah, Emmett's still alive. Sorry if I spoiled that for you. Before we find that out though, we see damn near the whole city come out for Emmett. There were some people missing that I noticed though. Tracy was not here. Big shocker. I do find it crazy that she wasn't here though, considering she's been around for as long as Emmett. I guess the show just pick and choose when she's gonna be on. And with a cast as extensive as this one, I guess it's just easy to do that, to be honest, for any character really. Because we don't see Lene, we don't see Bakari in this episode either. Of all the characters missing though, I would have expected to see Bakari at least in this episode. Because we know Damien told him in the last episode that Jada was going through what she was going through. So after hearing Emmett's laid up in his hospital, I just would have expected to see bro here, but it is what it is. You see Nuck was here, so maybe Bakari had to handle extra shifts because Nuck had to lock in and figure out what the hell happened to Emmett. Oh, at the hospital, we get a couple different conversations, starting with Tiff and Keisha. We got Keisha who's obviously panicked because Emmett's in the condition that he's in, and Tiff is trying her best to console her. Also remaining realistic though, like there is a chance that Emmett is not gonna wake up, even though we as viewers know he's gonna wake up. She asked Keisha if they ever talked about what Emmett would have wanted when he died, whether he wanted to be cremated or put in a grave. She says they never had that conversation, and then Tiff brings it back to Rob, where she says they didn't have that conversation either. If it's one thing I can appreciate about The Shy, is the way they take their themes seriously. The show itself is goofy at a lot of points, but they really take shit like addiction this season specifically, but they also take the tough conversations that people don't have on their day-to-day lives very seriously. Really puts things in perspective as a viewer. Like everything that happens on The Shy can deadass happen in your day-to-day life. We get another conversation between Darnell, Jada, and Damien. Darnell's trying to figure out what the hell happened to Damien's face. Jada breaks the news that she gave him bread to pay Reg. And so at this point, Darnell's tight, obviously, because he's putting two and two together and realizing that Damien is the reason why Emmett's in the hospital to begin with. He gives Damien an ultimatum saying, if you don't find a way to disassociate yourself from gambling, I'm going to disassociate you from this family. We see in this episode, Damien's really feeling the repercussions of his actions, as he should. We also see him taking the aftermath of this shooting seriously, though. We see him go back to the center that he and Darnell were at in the last episode, and he recounts everything that led up to Emmett's shooting. He vows to Darnell, Emmett, Jada, and all the people in that circle that he's going to put gambling behind him, and I really hope he does. I gotta give The Shy some credit too. As frustrated as we be with Damien and the decisions that he makes, The Shy's done a great job of characterizing him in last season and going into this one. I just hope that he can stay on the right path going forward, and we know that that's not going to be easy. We see him try to contact Karuchi in this episode. She does not respond. Thank God. That's probably the last thing he needed, if we being honest. But I did hear that Karuchi will be coming back again in this season, so they're probably going to link up again at some point. Hopefully she don't influence him to do some stupid shit as he has been doing throughout this season, but we'll see. We also get a conversation between Keisha and Nuck in the hospital, where Nuck's trying to figure out what the hell happened to Emmett. That's when Keisha breaks the news to him that Reg was the one that shot him. Nuck's now trying to figure out where Reg stays at. Keisha, like, she don't know. Why does he want to know? And that's when he breaks the news to her that he's been working with Detective Toussaint in order to get Reg off the street. After this, Keisha tells Nuck that the shooting took place at Jake's crib, so now Nuck's pressing Jake, which leads to Jake telling Nuck that Reg and Hannibal be chilling. Nuck knows who Hannibal is, so at this point he decides to link up with Hannibal to try to plant some seeds in case Reg comes over to his crib asking for a spot to crash at. Mind you, this is before Jake and Trig even kick Reg out of Jake's apartment. That boy Nuck playing 4D chess. I gotta respect it low-key. However, Hannibal and his wife Kyla Pratt are not for this move at all. Shout out to The Shy for casting Kyla Pratt. How much is in this budget? But Nuck's not done trying to slide for Emmett. He tells Hannibal he needs to get him a location on where Reg is staying at after he leaves Jake's apartment. And that's exactly what he does. You see Reg staying at this shorty crib after Jake and Trig kick him out. And ironically enough, this shorty is related to Keith, so you know they get to spouting shit about Smokies and Damien and all that. It was really talking down to Emmett's whole bloodline. Even EJ called it straight. Hannibal pulls up on him for a session. He mentions to Reg if he needs anything to let him know. Reg says, I need a shooter on me 24/7. 7. Now, in this moment, I thought Hannibal was going to dedicate himself to the job and sign up himself. That instantly would have been a death sentence in my opinion. But luckily for him and Reg, Keith knows a girl who'd be perfect for this position. As described by Keith, when she shoot, she don't miss. So he links up a shorty, puts her on game, then brings her back to his sister's crib so that she can meet Reg and have a conversation on whether they want to work together going forward. It's a rocky conversation, but they end up coming to terms, and now Reg has his shooter. Now, this shooter is in fact a new character. We get 2 new characters in this episode. Now, normally I'd be mad at the Shy for doing this, but because they've been getting rid of so many characters this season, I think it's alright for them to replenish the cast that they got rid of, as long as they're integrated into storylines that actually matter. So I'm not mad at this character getting introduced, but the one who got introduced after this, shorty that's working at Smokey's now while Emmett's recovering, she gotta show me something. I thought Emmett would be out for a little longer than he was, but being that he woke up in this episode, I just don't know the longevity of this character. But I will say, because Emmett did fire Keith, there is more than enough of an opening on Smokey's staff for her to actually come on and actually serve a purpose. What I found crazy though was the fact that Keisha didn't try to hit up Papa. Wasn't Papa a manager at Smokey's at some point? This nigga's so relevant, we forgetting shit that he just did. I feel like he was just a manager at Smokey's last season. He was working alongside Kenya. And even if he wasn't a manager, he still was on Smokey's staff for a good amount of time. And he was right at the hospital with them too. We see Papa have other things to get into in this episode. But before I get into those other things, I do want to mention that I kind of feel bad for Reg in this situation. Or I can sympathize with him at least in this situation. Was the bet he made to Damien OD? Yes. Did Damien decide to agree to the terms that were set? Yes. Did Reg say up front, if you can't bring me my bread, I'm gonna beat your ass? Yes. Did he keep his word and beat Damien's ass? Yes. Now, granted, him beating Damien's ass was a bit crazy because he still brought you 4 out of the 5 G's. He got a majority of the money, and I think he even said he would have got you that other grand if you just gave him some time to get it. But we're penalizing Reg for standing on his word. And then with the shooting of Emmett, it's effed up. I get it. But Emmett did run up on him. Yes, Reg came in, but when he let him in, Emmett just stole on him. Didn't even get a chance to explain himself on their first interaction since season 2. Emmett's a whole new person since then. I'm not mad at Reg for pulling a pole on him to defend himself. At the same time, though, I do justify Jake kicking him out of his apartment because he don't want none of that shit coming back on him. And overall, Reg is just somebody who's more trouble than they're worth. So at the end of the day, he gotta go. I just found it kind of crazy in this situation that this was the last straw that niggas was willing to take with him. Some other storylines we got going on in this episode. The pastor breaks things off with Serena finally, thank God. Just like that, another character is hopefully off the cast. The Shy is doing it right this season, I'm trying to tell y'all. You get Kenya's mother and grandmother seeing that she has a gun in her underwear drawer. So they immediately bring the pastor in so that they can all have a conversation on why the hell she has a gun. On top of that, it's Zay's gun. Like, why would you carry the gun of somebody who was in the mob, probably got bodies on this gun? I really just don't know where her head was at. But the pastor suggests that she comes to live with him and come to a service that he's putting on tonight at Papa's father's church. Yes, Papa officially decided to hand over the rights to his pop's church over to Pastor Zeke in this episode. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a bit annoyed at the hypocrisy of Papa's character in this season. Really from last season going into this one. But you didn't mess with Kenya because your pops said that she wasn't a woman of the Lord having a kid out of marriage. But you're then willing to give your father's church over to his top op, the one that you knew he did not mess with before he died. The one that your mother continues to remind you he did not mess with while he was alive. The one who is actively defending your father's killer. I understand Papa is going to have his own relationships. His relationship is not his own with his pops. But for you to break things off with Kenya because of what your pop said and then do this, it's a head scratcher, brother. I want to give it a pass because it seems like the pastor's trying to change his ways. But is he really? He's still very much affiliated with Nuck, who definitely is not changing his ways no time soon. He doesn't even know who he wants to be. So yeah, very frustrating part of the episode. I can't see that storyline ending well. We also get Nuck getting the address that Hannibal sent to him to Toussaint, so she knows where Reg is staying at now. You seen her face when she seen Reg. She already know it's over with her, bro. Her son will be out of that cell before the end of the season if she has anything to say about it. We got Shad semi trying to talk Jake and Trig out of kicking Reg out. It's like, I get it, but at the same time, it's a little too late for you to be having that conversation. And you even acknowledged some episodes back. Reg is a lost cause at this point, and yes, they're brothers, but if I'm Jake and Trig, especially Jake being that he's at my house, I don't want none of that smoke. We also got Dom and Jamal going to therapy, trying to figure out their issues. Currently, Jamal's trying to have a baby, and Dom is not. Jamal's trying to have the baby to preserve his legacy, but Dom could care less about none of that shit. And honestly, neither of them are wrong in this situation, but there's got to be a compromise. And honestly, it's amazing to me that this conversation never came up to these two before they got married. Like, for them to be so adamant in the position they take, you mean to tell me you never had this conversation before y'all tied the knot? Not that I'm surprised though, but this shit deadass might be a make or break, literally like 3 episodes after they got married. And then we gotta talk about Tiff. I'm so glad I did not drop my Tiff video yet because she just pissed me off in this episode. So Tiff and Trig have a conversation in the hospital where Tiff asks Trig Trig why he didn't tell her that Reg was still alive. I can kind of understand her pressing him like this because he is a killer, but was this really any of your business? What I mean by this is this shouldn't be a make or break in y'all potential relationship, in my opinion. Him telling you Reg was alive wouldn't have stopped Emmett from going over to Jake's crib and taking that bullet. And she gets to saying they moving too fast, maybe they should slow down. I agreed with that. I've shared these same sentiments. I'm not mad at them getting together, but this shit feel inorganic as hell right now. So I'm not mad at her for saying what she said to Trig in this episode. I'm more mad at what she does after this. Literally not too long after this conversation she has with Trig, she's seen texting Nuck, talking about some thank you for helping me build up this crib. Like Trig wasn't right there helping too. And you can tell she was trying to flirt with dude talking about some you up. Literally right after telling Trig they moving too fast. All this time you spending hitting up Nuck. Do you know where EJ's at? Do you know if your son is okay, Tiff? Do you know? I can't wait for her to find out that Nuck was the one that put Rob 6 feet under, bro. I can't wait. We also see her about to sign her life away to Alicia in this episode too. More on that later. Big up Keisha for holding out smokers while Emmett's in the hospital. Real one.